cup of coffee, then I'll go. Thought that
Good morning. Welcome back to Grand Colombia. It's another magnificent day, although we did have a lot of rain and one hell of a thunderstorm a couple days ago. I mean, it was epic. It was apocalyptic. Okay, so no coffee time last week. I put up messages. I got a lot of questions about why is there no coffee time, but I put messages up in a number of places, including on the channel itself. I just had some things I had to take care of, more than one thing. And I don't really want to share what those were, but it was really important. Had to focus on them, get them handled. And I just was not of the mind to do a coffee time last week. But I took the opportunity to do a quick poll to see. I've been concerned about the length of the coffee times. I mean, they just keep kind of growing, and we've had them up to almost 2 hours. And while we're doing them, it's fine. I mean, it's almost always related to questions and answers, which, you know, I like doing and you like asking. But it's kind of gotten out of control. So I'm going to try to go back to my more or less 30, maybe 45 minutes at the most, but I'm going to shoot for around 30 minutes. So I'll have topic or some information for 15, 20 minutes. We'll do question and answer, and then we'll just wrap it up. Normally I just keep going with the questions until there aren't any more, but from now on, I'll just end it. So get your questions in at the beginning of the question and answer period if you've got any. In that poll, there were, I think, 4, and I put the poll in a number of places, so I had to kind of add it up. But there were, I think, 4 people that said coffee times run its course and just do away with it. So that one was real simple. If they feel that way, just don't watch. The vast majority of the responses were, I watch coffee time. I just can't always catch it while it's live, and so I watch it later. And based on views, I can see that. So the only thing I'm going to do, and there was a number of comments about it running a little long. So, you know, I'll see if I can do something about it. And last thing on channel information, I'm working, like probably a lot of you, I'm working to find alternatives to Facebook and Twitter. I hate Twitter. I've never really used Twitter. I've had an account there. I don't think I've ever had 1 ounce of communication through it. It's really annoying. Everything just kind of flashes by. I've never liked Twitter. But I'm looking for alternatives. And so I've set up accounts, although I did cancel my Twitter account. I don't see any point in it. I still have Facebook, but I've had an account at Parler for about 6 months. And so I'm looking into that. That's kind of a replacement of a Facebook/Twitter type of thing. It has become very popular. It's got quite a following. And probably a lot of people that you know are already on it. I was just kind of amazed how populated it's become over a short period of time. And then there's MeWe, which is a Facebook alternative. So I set up an account there. So I'm trying it out. Seems pretty good. And a number of people that watch these videos have gone there, probably maybe 40 people. I mean, so it's not overwhelming, but yeah, I was surprised that so many have gone over there. Still looking for a YouTube replacement. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do about the live situation. Fortunately, they haven't canceled me here yet on this video, and it appears that it's running pretty clear. But you're all aware of the issues that we have, you know, time and again. And so I've had an account with library.tv, LBRY.tv for quite a while. And I actually really like it. It has a lot of really nice features, and but they don't have live. But they're telling me, oh, excuse me, my eyeball's falling out. They're telling me that they're going to have live, and they're working on it. So I have high hopes for that. And then the other Facebook, there's a million Facebook alternatives, and I probably tried every one of them. Gone in, haven't publicized it to anyone, but gone in, played around with it, through a couple videos just to kind of see what was going on. And I'm not a fan of most of them, but there's a new one. It is relatively new. It's called Rumble, and it seems to be growing pretty fast, and they're copying some things, like they're doing a monetization. In other words, how YouTube started out where you could actually make money on it. Well, Rumble is doing that also, but they're the non-censor, look out for the little guy. They're what YouTube was 10 years ago. So that's a possibility. Of course, there's no live yet, so it doesn't do me any good. So I'm looking at those. You might want to take a look. I'll keep you up to date. Now, I want to talk about the COVID test that may be required to come here to Colombia. First, I want to mention, I'm going to try this little feature. It won't take very long. I did get a number of comments, surprising how many. If it's coffee time, you never talk about coffee. Well, I do occasionally, but I mean, what can I talk about? So I thought about it. There are some topics. So I'm going to talk about coming up, coffee and chocolate, a mocha pot. A lot of you probably know, but maybe you don't. So there'll be some things like that. There'll just be a few minutes. Today, I want to talk about the idea of coffee in the United States as compared to Colombia. This was a conversation I had with somebody that came and visited recently. And I've known this, I've thought about it, but in talking to him, it just kind of clarified my thoughts. So I'm going to share it with you. In the United States, you drink coffee for what? It's a boost. I mean, the first time I drank coffee for the drug of it, it was when I was in the Marine Corps, and everybody was drinking it. And I was in a flight crew in a helicopter, and we would fly ungodly 18 hours. And when we wouldn't fly 18 hours. We'd be, working on the helicopter to get it to fly. Then we'd fly and come back, work on it some more, crash, work on it some more, fly some more. You didn't get much sleep. So, we all started drinking coffee. And I used to hate the taste of coffee. But, considering what the coffee was, the whole point of coffee was to give you that boost. And it was to give you this energy and get the caffeine. It was all about the caffeine. I mean, you drink coffee with one hand and throw no-dos with the other hand. And I didn't know this, but the caffeine content in the United States is pretty high. I mean, I don't like Starbucks. One of the reasons I never liked Starbucks was because I would drink one of their coffees and I'd feel like I was on speed. I mean, I would be all jittery and talking up a mile a minute and preparing me for these videos, I guess. And I didn't like the feeling of it. And so that was a big thing. Well, down here, drinking the coffee down there, I never have that. And what I learned was the caffeine is accentuated, added to the coffee in the United States, because that's what people are looking for. We're looking for caffeine content. I read somewhere when I was looking at this, Pepsi did the same thing. They upped the caffeine. So that's the United States. It's all about get out there, get going, rah, 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 rah. It's less about the coffee and it's more about, hard charging. In Colombia, it's kind of a polar opposite. In Colombia, you relax around coffee. Well, for example, in the United States, the key time to drink coffee is in the morning, 6, 7, 8 o'clock. That's coffee time in the United States. Here, the highest point, their competition in each other, there's 2 times that are the most used coffee times. That's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, which is a big thing in South America, and then 8 p.m. It's not in the morning. In the morning, coffee is really not even a thing. So what do? I mean, it's time to kind of sit and reflect on life and have a coffee with friends. That's why you see these coffee shops. It'll be 4 o'clock in the afternoon if you're walking down in Catorce Boulevard, and you have all these little coffee shops, and you see these older guys sitting there, and they're just kind of, who knows what they're talking about. Sometimes it's politics. Very often it's the pretty girls walking by. And there'll be 3, 4, 5 of them. And they're sitting there and they're having their little tinto or their little espresso, and they're just enjoying life. And this will go on an hour, hour and a half. It's, think tea time in England, except tea time is really about food. Here, coffee time is really about coffee. And so they've got an appreciation for good coffee, where in the U.S., they've got an appreciation for the most part, although it's been changing, but it's more of an appreciation for the caffeine content. So the caffeine down here is not added to. I tell you, I drink coffee down here no matter where I get it, and I never get that jittery feeling. And I don't drink much coffee. So you say, well, you drink so much coffee that, you get immune to it. I don't drink any more coffee down here now than I used to drink back in the States. I drink 1 coffee, and I drink it in the morning. Old habits die hard, but that's my chill time. It's before I, for the most part, take on responsibilities. And so I see there's comments. I'll get to them shortly. So that's a big difference. Here, it's a part of life. It's a part of relaxing, appreciating life, appreciating friends, taking time out of your day just to kind of mellow. And in the U.S., it's to give me that shot of coffee so I can get up and face the day. Okay, COVID test. And then we'll get to questions and answers. What time is it? Moving along just right. COVID test. All right. So they had a COVID test that you had to get within 96 hours. And then they said, you don't have to do that anymore. And so since then, people have just been flying down. It's been great. Well, then a judge ruled, I think November 4th, that not only will you have to have a COVID test again for good within 96 hours of arriving here. Yeah. But you'll also have to have a 14-day quarantine. Well, there's a lot of people here up in arms. The tourist industry is in shambles. It's just a total disaster. And the concern that they had with COVID was originally that all these countries would have more COVID and Colombia wouldn't have very much, and they would bring it in. But what's happened throughout the world, despite what you hear on the news, is percentage of population is starting to equalize. And so whether you come from Mexico or the US or from Europe or whatever, the chance of you having COVID is no longer really different than if you're right here in Colombia. So it's not a logical argument anymore. It doesn't make sense to do it. And so they're fighting it out in court. So that's on hold. No one knows how this is going to go. It seems draconian, doesn't make sense, kind of like a lot of COVID things throughout the world that are happening that just don't make any sense. I mean, you can go out and protest, but you can't have Thanksgiving with your family. I mean, just craziness. So I'll keep you informed. Just know that that's out there. Before this came on, I had a radio station back home in New York. I was listening to it. And this advertisement came on. It made me laugh. They were talking about stocking stuffers, get your stocking stuffers. And they had this great suggestion. And I thought it was a parody at first, and then I realized it was real. They want you to get, for a stocking stuffer, a back hair shaver. I mean, is that a thing? I know there's some people that have back hair, but I didn't think it was enough of a population to merit the expense of advertising for back hair shaving stocking stuffers. Anyway, it just that's neither here nor there. Is that all? Yeah. Now we're going to go to this. It's Q&A time. It's time to start asking your questions. Remember, 4 question marks first, then ask the question. And we're back. Let me skim down through here. What do we got? Good morning. Good morning from Switzerland. Hey, when will you make a new Street Armenia video? I did so many, it's going to be a while. I'm still, I had to put a pause on my Bucca manga. I've got 4 or 5, that I've got to finish and get out there. I thought coffee time just meant talking around stuff around the coffee table. Well, yeah, that's it. I took the name Coffee Time as a form of talking while drinking coffee. That's exactly what it is, but people ask about it. And when I thought about it, I realized there are a few things that I probably like to talk about. It'll be less than what I just covered on the idea of coffee. But you see, I think that is a really useful thing to know about how coffee is treated here versus in the US. So I've got a few more that I think are pretty interesting that, some people may be aware of, but I think it might be a revelation to a few people. So what the heck, people ask, I'll do it. Did the coffee is good for your heart? Did you try Pihau's coffee? I did. Well, Pihau has more than one, it's like you have all these farms. I tried a coffee when I was down there, and I bought one, brought it back. It was pretty good. My favorite, I've tried, I can't tell you how many. I would guess maybe 20 to 25 coffees from different farms, plus the big guys, the Juan Valdez and the Cafe Quindío. Cafe Quindío's probably got 30 or 40 boutique farms within their lineup. So I've tried a lot of different coffee here. And my favorite is still by far that Sorrento coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever had. And amazingly, it's consistent. It's a small place. There's only one place I can find that sells it here in Armenia. They're not that far away, but they just don't have a big commercial presence. And so I have to make a point. And I go there and I buy 2 pounds, 2 bags of it because I can't always get there before I run out. So feet are great stocking stuffers. Yeah. And the live music venues open, and would you consider doing a video on the places to hear live music in Armenia? I can't do that because the music will be copyrighted and they'll shut the video down. That used to be allowed if it was incidental like that, but you'll notice that there are no YouTubers. They'll say, well, excuse me, I had to mute. Now I'm doing a voiceover because they don't want to lose the video over the music. So no, I can't do that. However, it's possible that on one of these other, possibly on the Rumble or on the library, I might be able to do that. Maybe I can do a test run. But keep in mind, too, I don't go out at night. And those things really mostly happen at night. I asked the street videos because I left 4 years ago and really enjoy. Oh, well, thank you. I've done the street videos here in Armenia up until quarantine. And then a couple quick ones in between. There was hardly any videos during quarantine because I couldn't get out. All right. Can you hear blues, jazz, rock music? I assume you mean, are there places to go where you can listen to that? And yeah, rock music is very popular here. Jazz, not so much. Blues, somewhat. It's kind of a cliquish thing. But yeah, it's here. It's available. I love blues. I like some jazz, but I can't stand the Dave Brubeck type of jazz. George Benson style jazz, I love that. It's more melodic. But blues, I mean, I grew up on, I was weaned on. My guitar playing days, it was mostly I would be playing the blues. And when I was doing some lead stuff, it was mostly through blues chords. So I love it. And I get mine through Alexa. But yeah, there's places to go. I will tell you that Armenia, being as small as it is, won't have that many choices. Where if you go to a place like Bogota or Colombia or Medellin, you're going to have an assortment of those things and they'll be more prevalent. So, keep that in mind. If you're really looking for nightlife, there's nightlife here, but if you're a clubber, you're going to want to live in those places and then deal with the population and the smog and traffic and all of that stuff. Or you can do things like live in a place like Manizales, for example, which is kind of in between, and then maybe run down or up, it's north, to Medellin, for like a long weekend once in a while. Just a thought. Personally, I think that would be the best way to do it. But when I come back to Colombia, I invite you to try a coffee in my farm in Calarca. Happy to. Excuse me. Happy to try it. Just don't be offended if Sorrento's still my favorite. But I'll tell you this. I've never ever had a bad coffee here in Colombia. Of all those I tried, none of them were bad. They were all good. They were all better than good. It's just that the Sorrento is, to me, is extra special. And like everything else, we all have our own perspective. But that coffee was made for me. Okay, sorry, you misunderstood. I wasn't complaining about. No. I didn't misunderstand. I'm just trying to. Minnesota Fats was great at talking the blues. I also noticed that when I click on the thumbs up, he used to turn blue and now it turns black. And also the bell notification bell turns black. Are you being restricted? Yeah, a lot. Like many people. I just got a thing from Facebook telling me that the election is settled. All the information is clear. And if I say anything about it, I can lose my account. Where did that come from? I don't know. It's Big Brother running amok. But that's part of the reason. I mean, I really have to find alternatives because I don't know how long I'll be able to work on this channel. And the thing that really bothers me, well, it all bothers me. It's all ridiculous, but I don't swear in my videos. I don't have carnal topics. I don't discuss any details about women, dating women, or anything that you would consider off color. I kind of keep most of my opinions, beyond Colombia, out of this channel. I do a private thing where I just did one spurred partially by the Facebook thing that I got, talking about the voting machines and a report that CNN did on the corruption of the voting machines and how they're easily affected. It was like 2 decades ago or a decade ago. And then I juxtaposed it with today. I thought it was kind of clever, but that was personal. That's a personal thing. And I don't put those things on this channel. So it makes no sense that they do this. But then I see pretty much everybody I watch, like if I watch a car channel or there's a guy in Ireland that does this gaming channel on Civilization 6 who I just find entertaining. But these guys are getting hit with the same thing. It's, they're watching their views being throttled. They're watching subscribers be throttled. They're having subscribers complain that they put up a live video and they didn't know about it. Well, you didn't know about it because it's YouTube not telling you. I'm certainly putting things there. I have videos that get taken down. I had one completely deleted. I had a video that they deemed was sexually offensive, and it was a live video before I even did the live program. There was no video yet. It was just a thumbnail, and it was a thumbnail about coffee. It's just absurd what goes on, and there's no recourse. It's not like you can complain to somebody. It's like, shut up and take it. So that's the deal. All right. Any more questions? We're coming up on 30 minutes. We're doing real good. Should have time for a couple more questions if you got them. I don't have my other screen up. I don't know how many people are online watching this. That's been an issue lately also. Thanks for answering me. Sorry for my English. Nice channel. You can see pictures from our farm in Colombia and my Instagram. Okay, I'll check that out. Your English is fine. You said you're from Switzerland? Switzerland. So I don't know. Is Swiss a language? I don't even know what you speak there. So, it's like, don't apologize for your English if I don't even know what language your country speaks. I always thought it was like something like Belgium, German or something like that, but I don't know. 25. What's 25? I'm not sure what that is. All right. No more questions. So I guess we're going to end it here. So I want to thank you all. Thanks for the comments that I got last week when I took a break. Maybe someday I'll tell you about it, but I'm not prepared to right now. And 25 people watching. Yeah, so it's way, way, way down. Way down. Okay. Ciao. See you next week.